The mysteries of the universe are as plentiful as they are exciting. This is Skull Babylon, and you're about to listen to episode 87 of Paradigm Shift Radio. On this co-created community episode, we use the show once again as a platform for us to practice talking, asking our questions, sharing our ideas, and expressing our insights about the mysteries of the universe. With numerous callers on the show, we cover a wide range of topics such as the mystery of how influential our thoughts are to creating our reality, healing our body, and the ancient Hindu knowledge of this based on the elements themselves. We also explore the mystery of why our society seems to be so backwards in a lot of ways, and how this may actually be a part of the bigger picture to help us grow. As the episode moved on, we also discussed the mystery of time itself, our perception of it, and more. Without a doubt, there are many more mysteries to be discussed, so be sure to stay tuned and get involved with future episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio as we continue the conscious conversation. And also be sure to check out the Conscious After Party Hangout for more community discussion and interaction as we all continue to practice sharing and learning together. The Global Paradigm Shift Project is an interactive space that we invite you to get involved with, so have fun connecting and making new friends amongst the other awesome people in this evolving community. We appreciate you being a part of the team, and we would like to remind you that if you enjoy what this project is helping create within this world and wish to support it for the many years to come, then please think about signing up through the main website as a Paradigm Shift supporter for only a couple dollars a month. Check out and share the past episodes and more conscious media, including the 3 full-length movies, at ParadigmShiftCentral.com. Sync up for future episodes, help share this one with your friends, ripple the hope and inspiration further, enjoy the flow, thank you again, and one love. We are all here to do what we are all here to do. A simple idea, a noble one, and one I think we can all reflect on, and one that's evidently brought me back here once again to be able to share another fun, exciting, consciousness-shifting, community-building Sunday evening with you here on Paradigm Shift Radio. This is your good, dedicated buddy, Skull Babylon, aka Brendon Wolfshield Culleton, coming with you live again for another episode. And tonight, going to be talking about mysteries of the universe. And really looking to hit upon as many topics as we can tonight with no particular direction intended. I'm really interested to see what you think, what you are intrigued by when we talk about the mysteries of the universe. And to be honest, this episode, there's a moment where I wasn't entirely sure whether or not it was going to happen. And those of you who follow me on Facebook, and of course feel free to add me, anybody who hasn't yet, facebook.com/SkullBabylon, and you can and youtube.com/SkullBabylon. But I've just been getting over a bit of a cold and everything. So, I mean, from that point of view, I'm still a little bit not 100%. And it was interesting, even just like pulling the show together and stuff right now, like my body is still dealing with a little bit of the countermeasures involved with what happens when you have a bit of a cold. And I was actually like working up a sweat. Well, just like trying to like get things working here in my room, which is unusual for me. But I know it's important. I know it's important to be able to do this show because I know it's about the connections that we as a community are able to share and the opportunities that we can create through coming together in this show, be it by being here every single week and by being able to practice sharing our ideas and be able to practice expressing ourselves and to be able to collectively share these ideas as consciousness so that we can continue to understand the mysteries of the universe. Because fundamentally, evidently, like that is really what it's about when you think about it. It is the mysteries that drive us. It is the questions that pursue us, that make us want to pursue more, that make us want to figure out, like, what is there around the corner sort of thing. So I'm really interested to see what it is, what light we can sort of shine, or what dark reaches of the universe we can sort of shed some light onto tonight when we sort of explore the questions of investigating the mysteries of the universe. So we're going to be bringing my good buddy Noah on in the next couple minutes, but before we do that, just reminding everybody to be able to check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com if you have not yet, and just bringing you up to speed in terms of what that is. ParadigmShiftCentral.com is the main hub, and Paradigm Shift Radio is just a branch of that hub, of that that central project. And the project itself is about physical paradigm shift communities all across the world. I myself am with Paradigm Shift London, and we have regular open-minded discussion and meditation circles. We encourage people to be able to create paradigm shift communities where you are, to be able to help find people, to be able to help hack the matrix, to be able to help build community, change lives, to be able to help share in that collective education and inspiration. And you can check out more information at the main website, and also, of course, be sure to connect to facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Central and facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio. And I'm just looking to confirm things are sounding a-okay, so if I can get another 1111 in the live chat, we'll be able to move forward with things and get things rolling. And in terms of just community news, there isn't really too much that I need to bring you guys up to speed on. Like I said, to be honest, tonight I'm really not looking to talk too much about things. I'm more interested in just making sure that things do run smoothly as per usual, and to really be able to invite you guys to help co-create the show together once again. So if you want to get involved with the idea of discussing the mysteries of the universe, and please call into the show. You can do that now. We'll be bringing people on throughout the episode, and we're going to get rolling right into it. And we're just going to see where it goes. And of course, just in terms of things that I wanted to invite you guys, if you want to be involved with the free button draw, you can send a message to facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio. A lot of you are already familiar with that, and I'll remind you later on in the episode, and I'll post a link for that into the show notes as well. But Paradigm Shift buttons, you can get those at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons. Use the promo code PSR, but to enter into the draw, send a Facebook message. Unless you've already sent a Facebook message, don't worry about sending one if you've already sent one from the previous weeks. And even if you're listening to this show after the recording, you can still send it and enter yourself in for next week's draw. So just send us a message, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you think about the show, let us know that you want to be entered into the draw. Send that message to facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio, and we'll be doing that draw later in the episode. And awesome opportunity. And if you want to be able to help support the opportunity for us to share more free shift buttons, then you can donate while listening to this show or afterwards at GoFundMe.com/Paradigm Shift Central, and again, posting a link for that into the live chat. And other things, just inviting you guys to be able to help co-create. We are at 22% in terms of raising funds for the next Journey to Lucidity movie, and that's coming up pretty soon. That's coming up in mid-April. I'll be going back out to California. A lot of you have already seen the first movie. If you haven't yet, you can find that at facebook.com/Journey to Lucidity, and you can support the sequel at GoFundMe.com/Journey to Lucidity, helping create consciousness shifting media, and really exciting and important stuff. And a simple contribution of $11 gets you early access to the movie, and it is greatly appreciated. So that's really all I need to update you on, just the usual stuff. But let's bring our good buddy Noah onto the air. And again, if you want to get involved with this conversation, please call in now, and we'll be bringing people on throughout the episode. And of course, please invite more people to tune in to this episode as we get things rolling. And just to sort of preface things, like what can be considered mysteries of the universe. I mean, for me, that is what my curiosity is, what drove me, is what led me further down the rabbit hole. When I think of the mysteries of the universe, off the top of my head, you think about things like UFOs, obviously. You even think about things of life after death, why are we here sort of thing, aliens. Hollow Earth is one that's a particular favorite of mine. Maybe some people want to talk about Hollow Earth. Yeah, of course, ancient knowledge, stuff out of Egypt. What is it that they were really interested in? I mean, there's a lot, and even in particular, and I'm putting this out there, and if somebody wants to sort of just catch on to this, then please, by all means. But even getting into the conversation of things like psychedelic experiences, and of course even conversations like talking about lucid dreaming, astral projection, things like that. I mean, essentially whatever there is that's out there, there's some sort of mystery that is associated with it. There's not too many things that we actually can say for certain that we are absolutely 100% positive about. So it's good that there's actually a little bit of mystery surrounding everything these days. It keeps us interesting, and it keeps the conversation rolling here at Paradigm Shift Radio. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. 35 users in the live chat, and let's get things rolling. So Noah, I'm going to bring you onto the air, and we'll see where we go from there. Here we go. Yo, Noah.
Let's go.
Yo, man, how's it going?
Pretty good. A little bit of a cold as well, but
really, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever, man. Whatever. You know what? Actually, there was one thing I was going to mention just in terms of the cold because I think it's important for people to hear this, and it's just a little paradigm shifty perception thing that I keep in mind. The idea that when we have something simple as a cold, the idea is that by the time we're done being sick, we're actually healthier than what we were before we got sick. Because when we get sick, it's this body's natural mechanism to sort of purge out the things that it doesn't really need necessarily. So I mean, depending on the terminology you want to use, me being sick is just me consciously choosing to upgrade my vibration, so to speak. So I mean, yeah, it's all good, and the last thing I want to do is have any resistance, and I'm actually enjoying a little bit of the downtime involved with taking care of myself in the meantime. But yeah, man, all the best wishes to both of us, and speedy recovery, no doubt. So, but anyways, good to hear.
Anyway, well, this is a loaded topic, isn't it?
It really is, man, and I mean I can just set you up, and I'm ready to just sort of like sit back and see where this goes. So from that point of view, Noah, what are some of the mysteries of the universe that intrigue you or that have intrigued you throughout the past?
Well, first of all, I think
speak a little bit louder if you can.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me better now?
That's a lot better.
Okay, well, I guess more recently, I've kind of just stopped or been trying to simplify and realize that there's not much that I can really know, like, in terms of these greater mysteries that's not really inside of me. And I've kind of tried to detract my attention away from, like, I guess more things that you were talking about, like, even if it's UFOs, even if it's things that are like extraterrestrial consciousness and things like that, because how do I even understand the human body? You know, how do I even understand like the basics of my DNA and the basics of like how the body functions and how unbelievably amazing that is? So I mean, we are a living mystery. I think that's the most incredible thing when you really break it down, is there's an infinite amount to discover within ourselves. So even before I even try and look out and understand the infiniteness that is the cosmos, I'm just looking at myself and I'm just trying to understand, like, what am I? And I think that kind of goes on pretty much forever. I don't think you ever get to the end of your life. And that's why I don't really necessarily believe in this idea of being enlightened as like a time period where you transfer over and then life is just like, or like that you don't know. It's more like forever. Like, are you not always discovering more and more and more and understanding and refining your understanding and continually moving with the mystery that you are? I mean, I think the self is the biggest mystery. So I think I've just been focusing my attention a lot less on, or trying to at least, a lot less on intellectual information. It's valuable in so many regards. However, I'm trying more and more to, like, without concepts, to look at my body and to understand how it works and how energy flows inside of it and how that relates to mood and emotion. Because these are the kind of things that I'm in full control about in terms of the mystery. And the more I go, the further I go. It's not like I get to the end of that even. So I think more recently that's been my focus, is just really looking very microcosmically and trying to understand this body, this mind, this self, or lack of, more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So, go ahead, keep going.
Oh, like I guess like I'm just been playing with like change and like what the body really is, because like I appreciate its solidity in my appearance, but like I know that things are just always changing about it and have always been changing about it, and so there's so many different things that, whether it be, through a more like intense, rigorous exercise or just through stretching or meditation, of really just delving in and trying to like understand the mind and the body complex and how they're related. Because that to me is so much has to do with my positive like well-being and how I look into the world, which then is kind of how I'm going to perceive the mysteries, so to speak. But I guess there's two different ways you can look at it. You can talk more about the mysteries. I mean, definitely I've spent a lot of time studying, and I mean, I was saying this to Skull today. He was asking me if I knew about the Tree of Life, and I was like, yeah, I know a lot about the Tree of Life, but I know nothing.
Right.
Because it's literally a lifetime to study it, especially because how it works is it's the microcosm and the macrocosm. Each energy point, I don't know if anyone's seen a picture. I mean, I'm sure people have before. Each energy point is just another sort of dimension in the divine universes, so to speak, that manifests from the lowest to the highest, and it's one system working in integration from higher worlds to lower worlds, and they're all matters of perception. So within the human being, there's the tree of life, which is the psychology of the human psyche. For example, you have the process of knowledge. So you, on one end of the tree of life, if you look to the right side at the top, you have something called chokhmah, which is wisdom. And so that's kind of that lightning bolt of information that comes through you, which is a mystery, because it's like, sometimes it's like, well, where did that even come from? Like, yeah, of course, like Einstein created the ideas that he created, but at the same time, like, it's coming into him from some vast amount of information. Mm-hmm. And so in the Kabbalistic Jewish tradition, they call that wisdom. It's like the lightning bolt where you basically see this big picture of an idea or a concept or some sort of lightning intuitive understanding. And then what you need to do with that kind of holistic picture of many parts, which is still in the oneness kind of, is you need to break it down into pieces. And so they call that bina, which also means to understand or to build. And you basically build individually into kind of like sentences almost what it is that you just understood from such a higher place of consciousness. And then from there, you kind of can make it into knowledge. And we think of knowledge more as intellectual, but for the Kabbalist, it's to know is to like intimately understand and to experience and to feel. So that's why it talks about like a spouse. It's to know them. So you take something so abstract and so undifferentiated, and then you break it up into concepts to understand, and then you kind of have this experiential understanding, but also this like intellectual understanding as well. And so that's kind of how it works in the human brain. But at the very same degree, it also has to do with creation. They say that creation happened with wisdom on top of kindness, which is a whole other story, but that it was wisdom. It was like this. It was, so to speak, God's thought of the end of creation, of the perfected world. And we have to build, Bina, to build in our own subjective, separate, fragmented ways in order to create the end vision of a humanity that we want to see. And then when we do that, then we know that it's possible. We know that realm is real, so to speak. And so it's kind of like this microcosm and macrocosm. It really works with the psychology of man, but at the same time is also really dealing with the mysteries of how the universe works and how we are both free, but we're also moving into an inevitable world. Like
it's pretty advanced too. I mean, for those people who aren't even familiar, I mean, just run a Google. If those people who haven't really seen it, I mean, it's sort of, those circles kind of connected with the lines. But no, it's right. It's sort of like this blueprint for not only this scale, but also like the psychological dimensions of our own mind, and also like the astral planes on a higher level. And it like I mean again, I don't even really fully know. I just know that when I was younger, I was watching an anime, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and then it like showed up in that, and I was like, what the hell? And it was like all about the Jewish Dead Sea Scrolls, and it just blew my mind, but it also opened up a few doors. But yeah, man, like I think I think the topic of that is like something that in itself is pretty advanced. So I mean, I think we can just sort of like sit on that, but let's sort of see if we can get some more callers on and just sort of open up some more pathways to see where they would like to take the conversation as well, and maybe we'll sort of root ourselves back to it. But Noah, just kind of on the bigger picture of things, what sort of mysteries of the universe might you be interested in seeing us talk about tonight, other than the Tree of Life?
Wow. I guess I've been more interested in just like how we kind of come to be, and how not necessarily how we come to be, but how things move from such like you have like this one single-celled organism, and it's just amazing the evolution of how it develops into a human being and how emotion relates to that, and is it all just some sort of accident, or is it some amazing fine-tuning? Like, I don't know, those kind of things kind of boggle my mind to think about how this came to be. It seems like because I don't perceive it as an accident, it's almost like it can't be an accident, because that's my perception. you know? So, like, then it relates to, like, okay, how? How does this work? You know?
Yeah, how does it sort of,
and
like,
even if there's
see
an
itself?
even if there's an infinite number of, like, parallel universes where this was the only one that came to be, why? And, like, what is the purpose of it? And how does it relate to the long, never-ending span of history and time that we just can't perceive beyond?
Yeah, I was watching The Matrix Reloaded today, and that's actually that quote that I mentioned at the beginning, the idea of we are all here to do what we are all here to do. That's actually a quote. The Oracle says that to Neo when they're sitting on the park bench in that one scene. But yeah, no, it was just interesting listening to Morpheus' perspective on things, because he was just like he was just so confident on the idea of, like, nothing happens by chance. And I think some people will sort of, like, juggle around with that idea, but I think, I mean, that in itself is, like, this mystery of the universe as to, like, how does nothing happen by chance, and how do things sort of, like, play out from this non-linear perspective of things. But it's interesting. It definitely gets it sort of paints a picture once you sort of start connecting some dots. So no, hold on to a couple of those thoughts. We're going to bring on some other callers, and we're just going to see where this conversation goes. So we're going to bring on a caller from area code 816. They are the first one in the queue, and then we're just going to go down the queue from there. And callers, we got Drew and caller from area code 305. If you guys want to be brought onto the queue, just press 1 on your keypad. Let me know for sure, and we'll bring you guys on shortly after, as well as caller from area code 201. But caller from area code 816, if you are ready, we're going to bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio to join in the conversation. Here we go. Hello, caller.
Hello,
can you hear?
Hello, Brendon. How are you?
Hello, is this Tamara?
Oh my God, I love guessing games. Keep going. This is gonna be fun. Keep going.
I know who this is, and you're putting me on the
spot.
You know. I know who this is also. It's Katie Mary Smith.
Ah, you got it. I hope we can go on for a while, but you're too smart. You're too smart for me.
Yeah. Call Noah. No, as soon as you're right. You guys hung out in the live chat for a while, so Noah would recognize that voice for sure.
Oh, Jesus. Well, Noah, how are you, too? I'm sorry. I'm rude. I didn't even ask. How are you doing?
Well, you introduced yourself, so I didn't know if I knew you, but now I do. So I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, and everybody's sick. Y'all, you all got to get over that. You get those immune systems going, and everybody's got to be playing. So hurry it up. Sing, have fun.
Okay, Katie, it's good to hear from you. Getting right into this conversation, Katie's on the topic of mysteries of the universe. What comes to mind for you?
Okay, well, and I hope this is appropriate to share, but because I don't know, I can sometimes verge on an appropriate line. But I had a mystery recently that I had called in at. I don't know, was it a couple months ago? Can't pay attention to time anymore. But I had a mystery myself that kind of unraveled itself, and I didn't know if you guys would possibly want me to share it, but I thought it might be something that people could possibly benefit from.
So obviously, get on it.
Yeah, I mean you're here, so this is all about practice and sharing ideas. So yeah, by all means, let's hear what you have.
Well, right, but it's your show, so I have to be respectful and ask. Okay. So going forward, and I don't know how much you remember about this because you only speak with a lot of people. You should only remember me, but a few months ago when I had called in, I was talking about the benefits that I started this program. It was hydrogen, oxygen, vegetable peroxide. I know I just like
the
that.
Oxygen therapy stuff. Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to kind of give a bit of an update. So a couple things happened. So I had been sick from the middle of October until literally about a month and a half ago, and I finally beat what I had. I'm still not quite sure what it is, but I just kind of want to give a little bit of the gamut of what happened. So what was happening to my body, there were a couple things. I was having these very intense chest pains, and it literally felt like a mini heart attack, and I kept going into this subpar ER because it's the only one I can afford insurance at the moment, and they keep not finding anything. And the other thing, too, was that it was feeling like no matter how much I ate or what I ate, my body was not absorbing nutrition. So I started gaining weight, that like nothing was working, nothing was helping. And so it got to this really exhausting point. Well, a couple things. I did the the oxygen therapy, and I wanted to kind of say a couple things about it because if anytime I kind of promote something, I want to make sure I give like the goods and the bads to it. So it worked, and I was so happy to say that it worked because, as you guys probably know if you've been through stuff, the healing process is really interesting because sometimes you'll start feeling worse and it's actually, you're getting better. Like, it's like sometimes the point where you're feeling worse is like something's dying off. And so the whole time, in fact, I couldn't finish it. You're supposed to do a month cycle of it. And it was very, very difficult for my body. My body's very sensitive. So one thing I want to tell people is if you ever looked into doing oxygen therapy like I was doing with this vegetable hydrogen peroxide, be very careful because you just have to really feel it inside of your body. I literally just did the absolute bare minimum I could. And I was, and I got really distraught and discouraged through it because it seemed like it was working, but it wasn't quite working. And so I'm really happy to say, though, a couple things that I was in a point where I was sick every other week. I'd be hit with I don't know what it was. It felt like a virus that I just could not get out of my system, and it's finally gone. I've finally gone 6 weeks, completely not getting sick. I can't tell you how good that feels, number one. Okay, number two, there was something else I wanted to bring to people's attention. So the chest pains, also, it got better, but then it got worse. And the issues I was having with food and digestion got worse. And finally, I just woke up one day and I realized, I said, you know what, I can't do this alone. I need help. And that's hard sometimes. It's hard to get humble because I don't think I'm Superwoman. I can do everything. No, I can't. So I called a nutritionist. And I talked to, I just thought, okay, let me call somebody. So I just picked somebody online. I called a nutritionist. And even though I couldn't afford the services, I sat and talked to this person. And this person told me a couple of really interesting things. She said, well, it seems like your body is depleted. She's like, it seems like your body is just not getting nutrition. I was like, yeah, that's it. And she said, well, considering you're having all these chest pains, and the fact that the nutrition, she gave me this really interesting piece of advice. She said, I think your thyroid is off. And I said, okay. She said, most likely you need more magnesium and zinc. And I said, okay. So I still wasn't feeling great. I'm like, all right. So I went and I bought some. I bought it about, I'd say, a month ago. And I have had since the night I started on it, I have no chest pains. My body has lost the 10 pounds it gained, and I feel like I have my energy back. I can work again. I'm just completely, completely happy. I feel so freaking blessed. And the other thing I did as well is I started taking fish oil and CoQ10. And so the reason I'm calling in, sorry, I know this is kind of wordy, but I know that a lot of times, a lot of people like us, we tend to get, I don't like the word tested, but I'll use it because I'm just not smart enough to have another word, but we have the universe throw stuff at us, or we put ourselves even in situations to learn from, and it can get tough. And a lot of us don't have a lot of support, just in general, even from our parents, from communities that we're in, or even just the fact that, we live in if you're calling from the United States, as you guys know, we have a government that doesn't support, positive health care. I still don't understand it. I won't complain, though. So I just wanted to throw out there just some things that I went through that maybe, I don't know, that maybe somebody else is going through, or they know somebody that's going through it that could possibly benefit them. But I'm so excited to call and say I feel great now. And like I said, hopefully this could help somebody. And the second thing I wanted to make sure and say to everybody is no matter what you're going through with your body, and believe me, I had a tumor one time that I had for a year on my neck that was killing me, but I was told it could not be operated on, I would die. If I didn't get rid of it, I'd die. I've had all these crazy things happen with my physical body. And I have learned from these experiences, you literally can heal anything. And the biggest thing is you have to get to that breaking point and go inside of yourself and say, okay, what's actually going on here? And, of course, what I have learned for myself, it always ends up being emotional. It always ends up being some emotional thing that you are not looking at that ends up manifesting. And that's what it was for me. And you discover all these things. But I just really want to, stress to people, do not ever give in to anybody that tells you you can't heal yourself, and don't give in to any diagnosis. You can heal anything. You really can. It's all about getting the will to find a cure and getting humble in yourself and saying, how have I created this, or what situation have I brought myself into, or what can I learn from it?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And, even just, we're sort of talking within the conversation of physical ailments, but, even just, psychological situations that we go through that challenge us in any sense. Anything where we go through those moments where, we might be at a highest high, and then within a moment's notice, the chair is swept out from underneath us, and then we're at a lowest low. That in itself, don't think that the universe is trying to bully you. Remember that the universe in itself, isn't a bully. And and it is, you're right, it is like this like test, but it's nothing that we aren't able to overcome. And kind of what we were going back to with me and Noah when we were talking earlier, like how does nothing happen by chance sort of thing, and the universe will sort of be able to play things out, and then X number of like days or months later you'll find yourself in a situation and you'll be saying once again that, hey, had this not happened I wouldn't be where I am now, and I'm pretty damn happy to be where I am now, and I'm a hell of a lot stronger as a person than who I am than what I was before. So no, I think you really hit on some key points there, Katie. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really cool. And am I on, by the way, right now?
Go ahead, Noah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, there's so many interesting aspects, and I think that is a mystery of the universe, is the healing of the human body and the healing of the human mind. From my experience and just things I've read on certain healers throughout the history of time, I guess it's more that what's been so interesting is that it has nothing to do, first of all, with their physical abilities as much as it has to do with their spiritual mind state and their ability to transfer energy from themselves to another being. So sometimes it appears like, oh, that person's a healer, like, right? Like even in the stories, I guess, of people who are in the Christian tradition with Jesus and the things that he's able to do to people, it's not uncommon throughout history that people had those abilities, but it was more in their belief to be able to do it. And all of them would say that it's not me doing the healing. It's I guess the godly energy working through me to allow me to like do things that transcend the logic of time and space and nature, which really relates as well to the tree of life in certain aspects where there's a part of us that there's a part of us as being part of the infinite that has to play into the game of nature, into the game of physical reality and the limitations of that. But then there's part of us that is entirely transcendent of that. And I think that's where healing comes along, is just tapping into that part that is completely transcendent of the rules that we think we have to play by, and that ability to then heal the body through that breaking of that illusion that we can't do so much more than we can actually do. So these things don't surprise me, even from a rational perspective. Like, it doesn't shock me, and especially when I look into the world and I realize that, if anyone's seen that South Park episode of us being in Imagination Land, it's so true. It's amazing. Like what you think it's like we're walking around. There's flying planes in the air. Like that was once someone's like science fiction project, you know, and now it's a reality. So whenever anyone talks about the future and our abilities to create, it's more like when we're ready for it. Like I believe there's no reason why we can't eventually be in 2 seconds. I could be from here to China in a split second. Like, don't tell me that's childish, because at the same time, like 300 years ago, if me and my buddy John were sitting there and I told John I was going to pick up a rock and speak to China, he'd be like, you're nuts, dude. Or I'd be able to summon someone telepathically where I can see their body and their voice from another part of the world. That's serious. Like, we're just using our telepathy. Like, this is, you know, the mysteries just, they go on and they're infinite. And that's kind of my experience with the body and healing, as well as just technology in general.
Yeah,
no,
the mystery.
I got to tell you.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I love what you just said. And speaking on that, like, I have some anger issues I deal with about the fact that I can't levitate. I'm really pissed. And, like, ever since I was 3, I saw Peter Pan and I knew, like, the jig is up. Like, I need to be floating around. So, And the funny thing is, I know that sounds really silly. I mean, probably not to you guys, but to everybody else, and people made fun of me. And I would get seriously angry. And I was like, no, you don't get it. This is so inefficient what we're doing. Now I'm going to be flying. And now I'm seeing there's freaking, like, they're making these hover cars. Like, VW came out with this thing, and they said that it has to have a grid, and I'm laughing. Like, of course it has to have a grid. Of course, because it's all a freaking grid. And I was so excited. And I love what you said. And one quick other thing, because I know other people want to talk. Something else that I think some people are going through, and I'll just touch on this very quickly. I know a lot of people have gone through this that I know. In being sick as well, I started having what felt like symptoms of radiation. And I was going, what the hell? Why do I feel like I'm in a microwave? And I mean, literally, there was a few days I was just in bed going, what's going on? And the intuitive message I got, that several of my friends got, even when we weren't talking, was I think a lot of us are taking on a lot of, I don't even know how to put it, but it's like in an energetic way. We're taking on radiation in ourselves, and we are like, we're transmuting it. In a sense, we're almost, and it's good because like the planet has just been, as you guys know, it's been so inundated. I think a lot of us right now are literally helping to transmute that stuff on a level that we aren't completely aware of. And in the process, I think the radiation is activating stuff. So in a sense, it's kind of making us mutants. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking too much about it, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I know, again, we're sensitive and we all go through crap that nobody else understands. Doctors can't diagnose. I just wanted to throw that out there because that was something else I'd experienced too.
Oh, well, I think what you said, that's definitely worth taking note of. So thank you, Katie, for bringing that up. Yeah, I think even going back to what you were saying with the levitation thing, for me, in terms of a mystery of the universe, I love the idea of how much is our inability to levitate simply because the people around us are influencing our belief system as to whether or not we are capable of levitating, which makes me wonder if you were to take a person and lock them inside of a room with no other observer, would that increase the possibility of them actually being able to levitate? And I would say more likely than not, it would, which is just kind of maybe we'll have to test that someday or something, but levitation is possible. I'm putting my money on that. I say absolutely. If we can do it in the dream realm, then in some way or another we can do it in this realm.
Brendon, exactly. And if you go on YouTube, which I'm sure you guys have done this, but there are some videos of some monks just freaking levitating. It's amazing, and that's why more respect to the Shaolin monks and all the monks of the world who do sit around and do that. And I loved it because there was this video I saw. They had this whole documentary where this guy went in Tibet and he was trying to find some monk, and forgive me, I think it's Tibet. I don't want to give wrong information, but he was trying to find some monk that levitates, and the guy's really reclusive and stuff. And finally, he finds him, and the monk, he's cute little muffin. He was so sweet. He was like, well, I'll try, but I don't know what's going to happen. And Brendon, with exactly what you just said, that just clicked. I think it's all about the intention of the people around, or even Jesus, which I don't like quoting the Bible too much, but he would tell people, because the exact same thing. Well, I can't heal you unless you want to be healed. I completely agree with you, and I hope that the more we're here and just holding the thought and just having that passion of I'm going to fly is literally helping everything manifest, even if we're not the ones that actually can put the science together. Because I'm not that smart. I'm a mouse, but I'm not that smart.
Cool. Well, thanks, Katie, for calling in. And like you said, I'm sure we could talk about stuff all night long, but we'll make some room for some other callers to get some opportunity to share their thoughts in. So, Katie, any last words before we shift over to another caller?
No, I just want y'all to feel good. Y'all get better as quick as you can, and everybody have a great night, and thanks for listening to me ramble. Hopefully it's not about nothing, because I feel like I ramble a lot about absolutely nothing, but I hope I entertained regardless.
There were some gems there.
Yay, I like gems! You guys have fun. Keep levitating. Go float.
Thanks, Katie. All right, I'll talk to you later, Katie. All the best.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay, love you. Cool. Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm looking for. I was just, when she was talking about that levitating monk thing, I just ran a quick search on that on YouTube, and I'm gonna have to do some more research of that on my own. But more likely than not, I think there's. The whole levitating stuff. There's something to that. That's one of the mysteries that really intrigues me. But for the people who are just well, how the hell do I start levitating in this life? My advice would be for them to investigate into the astral realm of things. If you want to start flying around in this world, start by learning how to fly within your dreams, because that is where you can really start to figure it out. And you realize there that the way how you fly in your dreams, like Peter Pan, like we were talking about, is simply by believing it. And that's pretty much as simple as it is. If you have an inch, even just a molecule of doubt in your left toe, that will prevent you from levitating and flying. So it's really just this wholehearted belief of and understanding and knowing that in fact there is no spoon sort of thing, as we've so commonly said. But yeah, definitely one of the things that intrigues me in terms of what is and what may or may not be entirely real within this reality. So we're going to keep things moving along, and we're going to bring on the next caller from area code 201, who I believe is Troy. And Troy, I was just reading some stuff in the live chat. Sounds like he's got some interesting things to talk about. And then from there, I think we'll be bringing on, we'll probably be bringing on Drew, and then I think Zoe may be coming on shortly after that. So Troy, if you're ready, we're going to bring you onto the air. Here we go. Hello, is this
Hello,
Troy?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, hey, what's going on? I just want to say real quick, I saw your movie on the Lucid Festival. It was good stuff, man. That's where I got your website from. Brought me over here. But yeah, I just want to chat real quick about healing the body, and there's some questions about like, how do we take care of this advanced machine that we have? And, I don't know if you guys, I practice Buddhism, and when the Buddha became enlightened was the moment that he realized that the 5 elements were in his body, earth, air, fire, space, and water. And so, in studying Ayurveda, if we can, balance these elements in our bodies, for instance, why do we have cancer so much? It's because a lot of people have high fire in their body. And what is fire? Fire is acidity in the body. So if we have high acid in the body, it's going to create an environment where, disease can manifest. And, how do we, bring the fire down? Every person, their body is designed differently. Like some people, you look at them more kind of heavy set. They're big boned, and because they have more earth in their bodies, where people that are more explosive, like the female that was just on right now, like she was straight fire the way she was talking. And, then you have people that are kind of more nervous and, always second guessing themselves, where they have an imbalance of air in the body. So, Ayurveda goes back from India 7,000 years ago, and they basically tried to teach us that, if we can manage these elements in our bodies, we can kind of just hit that middle point, and we can raise our kundalini. And even kundalini, what is that? That actually exists in the body. That's cerebral spinal fluid in our backs, and that kind of dries up in a lot of our bodies because we're over acidic. Most, you're from Canada. Most Americans, we eat such a high processed diet that it causes high acidity in our bodies. And why does that happen? That's because the food companies, eating all this corporate food, are the same as the pharmaceutical companies. They're the same people. So these chemicals that they put into the food, then they have a pill afterwards to take that will balance the effect. So we think, I ate Taco Bell, I have acid reflux. You go to the doctor and he gives you a pill to calm it down. And this is all designed that way because when you're taking one chemical in and then you're counterbalancing it with another chemical, you're basically just destroying your body. That's why people say, we're living longer than we ever have been. No, we're not. Just because we're living to 73 years old and we're broken down and ready to die. I mean, we're working from 130 years old backwards. People lived to 130 years old a long time ago. And, I've been to Japan. I mean, pre-Fukushima, I saw people in their 90s walking around farming, perfect energy. And it's like we're just like this paradigm, again, from the healthcare perspective has to shift, where we have to stop going to doctors and asking them to fix us with a pill. We have to go inside and heal ourselves, and it also comes right back to the chakras. Again, as you're balancing the elements in your body, you're going to move up the chakras, and once we can, hit that third eye, that pineal area where, our energy is so high, disease is not going to exist in our bodies. But again, it's a lifelong journey to get there. And how do we get there? Obviously, meditation helps, exercise helps, but managing these doshas, as they call them in Ayurveda, is really the key to balancing the body. So what causes acidity? It's a lot of meat. A lot of people eat a lot of meat, and people say, well, why are some vegetarians and some not? Because meat is very dense. Again, it causes acidity in the body. Whereas if we're eating a lot of sugars and sweets, that's going to increase our earth in our bodies. It's going to make us more heavy set. And, people with high air in their bodies, again, you can see the personality will show the imbalance of what's going on inside. So people with high air are going to not really be able to break down proteins in their bodies. And it's like if we can just find what our dosha is. This is my passion. I mean, I was an insurance broker for years, and once I found Ayurveda, I'm able to start helping people heal their bodies naturally through foods and through the thoughts that they're thinking and through exercise. Again, cancer cannot exist in a body that if you manage the pH levels, which will measure acidity in the body, if we can stay around 7, cancer can't grow in the body. It's basically we have to become more alkaline. You can look up alkaline foods, and that will bring your body back from an acidic state, and that will kind of just balance us, and it'll even bring the fire in us where we won't be exploding on people with anger when we can't control ourselves. Again, that all comes down to we've got too much fire in the body, and we just have to kind of bring it down. So, just trying to drop some knowledge, man, to take it back because, everyone's running to a doctor and yeah, they got a pill for you. Go ahead, go there and take it, they're waiting for you. And the bottom line is that's not helping our bodies,
Dude, thank you.
That was
no
right
problem.
on,
Great information, and that's that's what I'm always trying to get back, is why I started off with the self and understanding our bodies, because as much as it's great to comprehend the mysteries of the universe, we need to be in here. We need, like,
exactly.
If
we can't change ourselves, how can we change anyone else? And to change ourselves and to reach that element, that ether, where we all want to hit the fifth element, we use our sixth sense to access the fifth element. And once we can access the ether, all the information is there. All the history, they can lie in our history books and say George Washington lived under a apple tree or whatever they want to tell us. But once we can access the ether, then all the information is there, but it's very hard to get there because we're fighting our own bodies, and we need to bring our energy up. So, and you can even break it down to platonic solids. If people say, what is fire in the body? It's nitrogen. There's 99% of the body is combined of nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon, and there's your elements. Nitrogen, Greek word ignite, put IG in front of it. Ignite is nitrogen, that's your fire. Oxygen, obviously that's air. Hydrogen, obviously that's water. And carbon is your earth element. So if you want to prove it scientifically in a lab, there it is. Those are the elements. And obviously space is the fifth element, which is ether, which doesn't really exist in the body. That's more what we're tapping into once we balance all the elements. So. But you guys should look it up, Ayurveda, man. The Indians knew this 7,000 years ago, and obviously you can't go against the American Medical Association because I can't even make claims that I can help people with cancer because there'll be a SWAT team raiding me and, taking me out in handcuffs and all that good stuff. So, we got to kind of just find this information ourselves, and once we can do that, then we can really, again, reach the Kundalini, which is the cerebral spinal fluid. We've got to bring that up.
Yeah.
It's all dried up in our backs,
Yeah.
That's what we're all suffering from, so.
Yeah, Troy, I think you're totally, man. I think thank you so much, first of all, for just bringing that information to this conversation. And for the people listening to this, just wondering what Troy's referring to, Ayurveda, if that's how I'm pronouncing it properly. For those of you who just want more information, run a Google search on it and find the Wikipedia article, Ayurveda. And I think you're right. The fact that this is nothing new, this is ancient knowledge and stuff like that, which in itself sort of brings up this other mystery of how long has this knowledge sort of been around? Did it actually originate 7,000 years ago, or maybe it's something that's been around?
Yeah, or maybe it's
it's longer, right?
Who knows?
Yeah. Because that brings up the next conversation.
Shockingly enough, though, all the information in tablets were destroyed. Shocker there.
Yeah,
all of the ancient information. And this was basically just put together over the last 100 years again, where we've rediscovered it and found this ancient information. And, this is where we need to start moving towards, healing ourselves. And then we can really tap into the mysteries of the universe. We'll really find those answers once we start accessing the ether. So.
Yeah, for sure. Troy, if you don't mind me asking you, we're not done the conversation here, but can you provide your Facebook profile? And I'm sure some people would be interested in adding you if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been doing it kind of on the side, just helping people locally, because like I said, I can't make claims. But if you guys want to hit me up, it's troykent@hotmail.com. That's my email. And I am in the process of setting something up. I want to get an actual clinic going, but. If anybody has questions, just email me, troykent@hotmail.com. And I do have a Facebook page on Troy Kent, so you guys could just find it. I don't go on Facebook that much, but I definitely will drop the knowledge. And just a couple of things, just how things are in plain sight. Also, the words that we use every day, how they toy with us and they leave it in plain sight. What does the word me stand for? We use me all the time. Me actually stands for magnetic energy, which is what we are, but we just don't understand that, Or it's let's not believe what we see through our eyes. That's why they call them the pupils, because the eyes are just students, It's the third dimension is it's not what it seems to be. So we need to really access the third eye, which is, obviously you guys are aware of that, and that's where the truth is. So what we see in our eyes, they're just students, they're just pupils. So we really have to go inside to find the truth. And so I just like to toy with language a lot, because they throw it right in front of us, and we use these words every day, and we're so ignorant. We're like children to them, we think, these corrupt bankers run the world, and it's not the truth. These are very spiritual people that run the world, and they know these things, but it's, everything's kept from us, so we just have to go inside and find it, and the answers are right there,
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think I love going back to the phonetics of things. And sorry, just taking a second just to confirm, Troy, is your Facebook address facebook.com/TroyKKT? Is that you? Because I don't see too many.
No. It just should be just Troy Kent if you look me up on Facebook. That should
come
up. Is
it literally, like, what is it? Facebook.com/Troy Kent, or
yep.
is it? Okay, let me just double check
that. Let me just pop my page up because I really.
Is your banner something about Stanford? Is that you?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Keep calm and Stanford on. Yeah, that doesn't sound like you. No. Anyways, all right, we'll get that figured out, and we'll post the links to that. But yeah, no, definitely. I think you really hit upon some key points there, and and actually just taking a moment here, and just even I want to go in a couple directions. Even what you were talking about when you were saying, the people who are sort of like running the show from behind this curtains, and whether we're calling them the Illuminati or whatever, that was always something that was my understanding. A lot of people think that these guys are just like corrupt politicians, oligarchy type government things, but from my understanding is that like there's actually a group of people who are actually incredibly spiritually aware of like these esoteric sciences and these esoteric teachings,
If you look on bank buildings, if you can find old bank buildings, really old ones, it's right in front of you. There's Fibonacci sequences on the buildings. There's pine cones engraved into them. And a lot of the etheric plane, which has kept us brainwashed for all these years, buildings are used, like, the power of pyramids we talk about. A lot of these buildings have pyramids on top of them. And people, I try to have this conversation. People just don't believe me, but that's what kept us under this brainwash for so long is the etheric planes. And like I said, everything's in plain sight. They have to leave it in plain sight. If you look anything up on the internet, the truth, that's the game that they play. The truth has to be there so that we can find it. It's kind of like you just give it. It's free will. They're not forcing anything on us. We can go and eat the McDonald's all we want, and then we find out that there's yoga mat chemicals in the food, and it's like, oh, we got caught. We were just doing it because it was cheap to do that. No, it's not about money with these corporations. It's about population control and suppressing the chakras, and you can't get there by eating corporate food. You'll never get there because there's always going to be some chemical in there, and every chemical, coincidentally, like the BPAs in the Tupperware, I don't know if you heard about that you can't use Tupperware because there's a BPA, which is a chemical in there, or like now they're saying you wash your hands with these hand soaps, the antibacterial, have a chemical called triclosan in them, or it's the pesticides on the food. Coincidentally, all of these chemicals do the same thing. They affect our endocrine glands. And what are the endocrine glands? Well, at each chakra in our body, there's a gland back there. So something does exist at each chakra point. At the root chakra, there's the adrenal gland. The sacral chakra is the gonads, which is the male sex organs, or the female. The solar plexus chakra is the pancreas gland. Behind our heart is the thymus gland. The throat is the thyroid gland, and then, you got your pituitary gland and your pineal gland. So there's glands at each chakra point, which really exist, and every chemical that we eat, or take in affects the end. Oh, I'm sorry, the BPAs affect our endocrine glands. We didn't know. We'll take it out. Or the pesticides affect the endo. No, again, this is advanced stuff. So everything's made in the lab, and it's made to do a certain thing. So obviously, it's going to affect our glands, and that's where our chakras are. There's a gland at each one of them, so they really do exist, and that's how we need to take care of our bodies because, you got to buy organic. I know it's expensive, but, you can't eat pesticides. You're never going to raise the kundalini in your body. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and kind of going from the bigger perspective of things, like with again tying in with like this whole idea of like the again like whether you're calling them Illuminati or what, like I think from my understanding
puppets,
of this,
the Illuminati are the puppets, the politicians are the puppets. It's just, there's real spirituality behind all of this, and we just
that's kind of. Yeah, like that's what I'm interested in, is that I think like from, again, going back to even what we were talking about earlier, saying like nothing happens by chance, I think from some higher level, like all of this was laid out as a game by us for us to really test ourselves. Because, I mean, if everything was just laid out in front of us and was just made super easy, it would sort of defeat the purpose, and it would take away the challenge. Like, this is like a refining process to really crystallize the human species as a whole, to be able to say that the people who are going to make this through this are the ones who are really going to be like worthwhile, who are really going to thrive, sort of thing. And then it is sort of like this population, like it is sort of almost like this natural selection sort of thing, where it's almost, and it does come down to choice. And I mean, a lot of people sort of argue that based on like circumstances and surroundings and stuff like that. But I think it's really interesting, like how in some way or another, you could almost say that maybe the Illuminati aren't actually the bad guys. Like maybe, and again,
never
like
know.
I hate
you never know.
term.
This is a
like,
test for us. It could be. Yeah.
Exactly. They are testing us, and it's a difficult test at that. But they actually want to see us come out. They actually want to see us like thrive and come out stronger than ever out of this process. And again, I mean, even, and this is like obvious stuff, but it's good just to hit upon, like the whole like Illuminati thing. Like the Illuminati refers to like the illuminated ones, which in itself is us. Like we are the Illuminati.
Right.
And I mean, and
exactly.
even going back to something that I've hit upon numerous times, but just reminding people, a lot of people get caught up on the idea of like the Illuminati symbolism, like with the Eye of Horus at the top of the pyramid, and people will often see me using that, and they'll be like, yo, like what's with the Illuminati symbolism? And my immediate response is, well, why do you choose to associate that with the Illuminati?
Exactly.
Like,
or
this
the
is all
Star
about
Merkaba, which is, that's the Jewish
exactly,
star.
right?
It's not. That's ours. That's all of us. And what is the Eye of Haru or the Eye of Horus? That's the optic thalamus gland inside of our brain. It's right in the center. Like people say, just the pineal is the third eye. It's actually the pineal, the pituitary, and the optic thalamus all together form just exactly as that eye looks. And that's why when people get things, they go, I see. Why do they say that? Because mentally you now see it as a picture, you know, because the eye is inside of our brain. That's where it is. So.
For sure, man.
But I think in general, just what we're not speculating about is what we can see and understand in terms of what's in the food and the ingredients, and certain aspects of obvious kind of dangers that we face in terms of sociological, economical, political, spiritual even. But more importantly than that is we don't really know. And so the only thing we can really do is just take the actions that we need to take. You know, someone that was talking to me about it was saying basically like, it's not that the person of craft necessarily knows these spiritual rituals. There's very small percentages of people that actually know how to, the way I look at it is that it's using the will, just like we all have our wills, that it's just basically magic that causes us to lose our willpower, and willingly giving it up. Like you said, we still have our free will.
Yeah, you have to, right,
but we
right.
hand
They
it
can't
over
force
to them.
us. Exactly.
We hand it over to them.
They can't force us. We have to do it because we want to. They can't force us to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on a deeper level, I don't, look around and say the average CEO or corporate leader is really even has any idea. He's just a cog in the system.
Exactly.
This is deeper than that. And that's why when I look at these things, I see that the illusion actually is that we don't have the power, and the illusion is that we talk about them as if they're this big entity, and really we're way more in number and way more powerful. So the minute that we use words which are magic to say they, we make it seem like it's this big like this big network, and at the same time, it's really just a few. And the more we understand that it's just a few, that's the real thing. It's like the monster in the closet. It's there, but it's not really there, you know? We just think it is. And the second we realize that it's not, it's just kind of not a joke, but it is a joke. It's sad, and, God forbid these things continue, but it's almost comical in many ways, You see it, and when you see it, you're just like, this is a joke. Like,
it's insanity.
This is too much. It's insanity that is so acceptable. And so it kind of loses its power when you realize that it's a joke. It's not even a conspiracy theory.
Exactly.
It's not anything. It's just something that's right in your face. It's just you have to look.
It's in plain sight. That's it. It's everywhere. Look on a bank building. When you walk in, you see the two pillars. When you walk into a bank, those are the pillars from the Temple of Solomon, which is the two sides of our brains. What is it? Jakim and Boaz. So you're walking into every bank, and they're just telling you it's both sides of the brain. It's left brain, female energy, male brain, right energy. And again, everything is just in plain sight. We just don't know. We don't even look at those pillars when we walk into a bank.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever. I need my money, and that's it.
Yeah. You're right. It really is this whole hidden in plain sight thing, and I mean that even goes for like the whole idea with sacred geometry and even just any
Yep.
of those like as above so below sort of perceptions and awakening ideas within reality. I mean, you're right. Like all of it literally is hidden in plain sight. So I mean, yeah, like are you seeing things or are you like really sort of like observing and looking with like the higher mind's eye kind of idea? But yeah. Troy, thank you so much for calling in again, and I'd love
no
to.
doubt. I appreciate what
to,
you did in that movie. I liked it.
Hey,
Troy,
no, thank you.
We'll be in touch, Troy. You'll expect a message from me soon.
Well, I was about to
just
say,
hit me up, TroyKent@hotmail.com. I'm trying to link up with people that are like-minded, and I just don't have that in this area. I even looked on your site about any conscious areas. There was one. I live in Jersey. I'm like 5 minutes outside of Manhattan, but like there was nothing really going on. Even in New York, you would think there'd be more, but it's just not here yet. We're early on, so I'll stay in touch with you guys and stuff. And
for sure, man, for sure. And can we confirm what your Facebook is? Do you know what that is yet?
Yeah,
like the
I'm
actual URL?
I'm on my Facebook right now, but how do
just
I
link it? Just link
post
it
in the live chat. Like do that right now, and I'll just say it for sure.
So what? Just copy and paste on the top of my browser right now?
Yeah, just copy and paste into the live chat, and people in the live chat will be able to share it. And actually, while Troy's doing that, I actually did just want to take the opportunity to just be able to share with people something that I'm personally fortunate enough to be able to share with people. When Troy was talking about the importance of an alkaline diet and the idea of balancing out the pH levels, a lot of yeah, see, no one knows where I'm going. So a lot of you are familiar with this, and I've talked about it before, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it again, but there's a special potassium bicarbonate electrolyte formula that I'm fortunate enough to have, and my buddy Joe, you can check out, he created this, and you basically just dilute it in water, and it's like the most efficient way to be able to like get an alkaline diet into your system. And I mean, there's really honestly nothing else like this on the mainstream market because it's too healthy. And like if they sort of like knew it existed in the same way, they either would like charge a shit ton of money for it, or they simply just like would not promote it in any way. So you can check out, those of you who are interested, you can buy a simple sample for $20, and that will last you like 2 months, and it's an investment for your health, and it really is like something I recommend. Noah's got it, a bunch of my friends got it, and it's something a lot of shifters do have. And like the basic way to look at it is it helps give you back the edge in a society that is desperately trying to like keep us stunted and keep us like dumbed down sort of thing. So you can get that at paradigmshiftcentral.com/spacelight, and it's SPACLITE. And again, I highly encourage people who are interested in their health to look into that, and you can find more information about it. You can even actually watch the Journey to the West movie that I did all about that. So there's a lot more information about it. But like again, like that is not bullshit. I know like sometimes people will have a hard time believing me when I'm talking about that because it sounds like I'm just trying to sell some sort of supplement, but I'm not. I'm trying to promote health, and I'm trying to share health with my friends because I care about like our overall health. And I can talk about it more, but we'll do about it another time. So just look into that.
And just lastly, even a cheaper way than that, if they don't have money for that, is just drink some lemon water in the morning. Get a warm cup of water and squeeze a quarter or half of a lemon into it first thing in the morning when you wake up. It seems like it's acidic. It goes in acidic, but once it hits your stomach, it becomes alkaline. So just another way, if people, just to help them out, to clear the toxins out and get our brains functioning the way they should be, because people are walking around like zombies now and shit.
That's right. Yeah, bringing us up to speed. And I'm just going to confirm, those of you who are interested in adding Troy, you can add him at facebook.com/troy.kent.37017, and I'll post the links for that in the show notes once this goes up on YouTube afterwards. But again, Troy, thank you so much for being on the air, and I do want to chat more, but we're just going to make some opportunity for others to get in on the air.
No doubt, man, no doubt.
We'll be doing again for everybody listening. We'll be doing an after party hangout in Google Plus video hangout. So stay tuned for that, and go to facebook.com/paradigmshiftradio for the links to the hangout after this show wraps up, which will be in about 45 minutes, and we can chat more there. So yeah, Troy, thank you again, and any last words I just want to remind people with?
Can I just read a quick quote from this book I'm reading, The Salts of Salvation, from the Zodiac?
Go for it, man.
It says basically about emotion. Emotion means a waste of motion, a lack of conservation. All unnecessary motion constitutes waste, and when the nervous system is so depleted that there is no control over it, one is said to be uncontrolled or carried away by emotion. Where perfection exists, no emotion will manifest, and by this it is not meant spasmodic control, but harmony. One does not need to exclaim, to weep, to shout, to jump about to express what one thinks, but the eyes and face can express deep sympathy and understanding. So as we clear our bodies out, we will not be affected by this thing called emotion anymore.
Nice, man, nice. And actually, I just want to go back and you were asking about a Paradigm Shift community. Maybe I didn't have it linked into the website properly, but there actually is a Paradigm Shift North Jersey community, and I'm going to post a link for that in the live chat. And definitely, Troy, I would recommend you hooking up with the people in there. And I think it's our good friend Lori who is actually the admin for that. And anybody interested, facebook.com/PS North NJ, and that's Paradigm Shift North Jersey, and you can just run a search on that and you'll be able to sync up with it. But yeah, there's definitely us shifters, we are all over the place, and yeah, it's awesome that we can be able to connect with each other. So Troy, thank you so much again for calling in and sharing what you had to share.
You got it, man. Good chatting with you guys, man. Be safe.
All right, you too. Right. One love, brother.
Take
Cheers.
care.
All right, man. Later.
Chat to you later. Awesome. Well, that was a solid conversation, and yeah, I had no problem just letting that one go a little bit, a couple minutes longer, and it will still make do with the amount of time that we have left to be able to get through with the other callers who we have on the line. And I believe the next person who, I said we were going to bring Drew on next, and then after that we have Zoe who is in the queue, and then we have a caller from a Skype caller, I believe, and then we also have caller from area code 732 and caller from 661. And yeah, definitely just reminding people, if they're interested in being able to connect with people where they are, then consider starting up a Paradigm Shift community. Go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/start a community, or just add me on Facebook, facebook.com/skullbabylon, and I'll get you hooked up with that. But yeah, it's those things, like being able to connect with people physically, like that's when like real magic happens, and that's what we're doing. And there's already like 50 plus Paradigm Shift communities across the world. Like this is legit stuff. Like this is like hacking the matrix right down to the core. So thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this. And let's keep rolling along here. No time to dawdle. So we're going to bring on Drew. So Drew, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you onto Paradigm Shift Radio. And this is Drew's actually with Paradigm Shift Salt Lake, Utah, I believe, if that's the right order. Yeah. So Drew, I'm going to bring you onto the air. Here we go. Yo, Drew.
Hello. Hey, I'm here.
Right on,
there?
Man.
Right,
we can hear you loud and clear. Welcome, man.
All right, sweet. Yeah.
And yeah, just
I guess
remind people, yeah, like what's your Paradigm Shift community? What's your location?
Yeah, we're Unity and Awareness out of Salt Lake City, Utah. But you can type in. I think you want. Here, let me check real quick. I'm gonna check which one.
Yeah,
but,
no problem.
It's a long name. That's kind of my downfall. Yeah, it's Unity and Awareness Paradigm Shift -SLC Utah.
All right, and I do have it linked in to the communities underneath the main website. So paradigmshift.com/communities, and check it under there. But yeah, anybody in the Utah area, connect with Drew. But yeah, Drew, welcome onto the show, man. And microphone is yours. So mysteries of the universe. Right. What comes to mind?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Like basically, like I don't know. I guess I'd go on what we were talking about earlier and all that. But we were talking a lot about like. Just like the way the universe works and whatnot, and like basically like if you guys even just check out my page, like I kind of think I have a bit of an understanding. I'm not gonna say I'm like this all-knowing genius or anything like that, but like basically if you look at all the patterns that nature creates, like you can pretty much use that to figure out the way the universe works. And what I think is like right now we're going through an experience just like where Troy was talking about earlier, where people are becoming aware of ether, and like basically you have the four elements like earth, water, wind, and fire. And like the Romans used to believe like if you didn't have ether, like if you weren't aware of the first four elements all to begin with, like you didn't even have ether, period. So that basically meant they believed you didn't have a soul. Like, and I'm not saying that I believe that at all. What I think it is just like it's just a heightened, like as people heighten their awareness, like they come to realize like we don't necessarily need all the shit we think we need. And like especially when you look at like the other thing that happens is you look at like what goes into your diet, what you invest your energy into, and all that. Like and like basically like it's just you learn that like it's not necessarily that there's these controlling people, so to say. It's just that they understand the numbers just the way you do once you get to that heightened awareness. But they're afraid to lose that control basically that they've gotten with that heightened awareness. So basically as the world shifts, like if you look at the way Phi works, like we're constantly at this like 66%. Like you have this yin yang concept, but I think that I'm not saying I disagree with yin yang, but I feel like it's not necessarily 50-50. I feel like it's more 66-33. And like as we shift into the heart, like people are going to become more nurturing rather than controlling. And for these people that are that have that hard time like recognizing like whether it's their like what they're doing or not, like rather than being controlled, they'll be nurtured, and like through that, like the world has just become like a much easier place. Like so, and then like that, and if you look at the fractal, like the other thing I'm really big on is fractals, I guess, like because once you start to understand fractals and develop a fractal eye, like you see how everything connects, and it's like inevitable. Like you can just look around your room or whatever forever, and like all you'll see is just endless fractalities. Like, but and then like also look at the Mandelbrot. Like you look at that, and it's basically the structure to infinity. Like it shows you, like you can find the 8 in it and everything with the triangle and all the shit. Like I don't know, if you want to learn more about it, I guess just come meet me in person, like at the drum circle or something down at Liberty Park. But I don't know. But yeah, and then from there I guess we could talk, maybe get into some group meditation and have open discussions. We got like a bunch of people that are really down for the cause. So I guess just come meet us up at the drum circle. We were there earlier today. It was a pretty nice vibe.
Right on, man. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you guys got things going there in your paradigm shift community. And yeah, I know definitely you and Donnie are definitely bringing it. And shout out to Donnie. Is he's not there with you right now, is he?
Yeah, he's not here right now. He might be on the after hangout, but
cool.
Just a little under the weather. Speaking of things, he's trying to raise his immune system. So basically, that's the other thing I had to touch on was the healthcare industry. Like I'm not saying like they're bad people or anything. I'm just saying they understand business. Like, and when you understand that, like you realize like profit is about like just keeping it continually coming, and like so when you have all these people that like charge these ridiculous prices and tell you they're gonna work miracles for it, like it's bullshit right from the get go. Like I don't know, just look at the ingredients. Like yeah, shit might have alkaline in it, but like it really comes down to the potassium and sodium balance really. Like they try to tell you you're hydrating yourself while they dehydrate you
by giving you sodium and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. It's our diet's so bad, like bass backwards. I've said that so many times lately, but yeah, like it is like it's all like high sodium, low potassium instead of like higher potassium, low sodium and stuff. Yeah, no, go ahead, Troy. Or sorry, Drew, Bradley.
Yeah, my bad. But I guess like the other thing I've noticed is like you have these people that say they're healing you, but in reality they're just dumbing you down in a sense. But basically like that power they have over you is like jack shit really. You just got to be able to like realize your own ether inside of yourself, and from there like it just becomes easy. Everything's simple. Life is not so complex as we make it to be. Computers work on only ones and zeros. I mean, once you understand that, like you understand how simple really everything is.
Mhm. Yeah, like you're right. Like in terms of the mysteries of the universe, that's kind of the thing, is being able to like see the simplicity within all this complexity. You're right. Like I definitely appreciate that perspective for sure, man. Cool. Anything else, Drew? Anything else you want to share? Want to bounce some ideas around? Any other mysteries of the universe that intrigue you? Aliens,
also,
Sasquatch.
I guess I just say like, to comment, like I don't know, I kind of get back to the Mandelbrot a lot because that's kind of my thing, but basically from there, like once you just ponder at it, maybe you line it up over some certain images, and like once you start to really like take it in, like you'll kind of see the whole structure of the universe in a way, and the way we connect to each other, and like how we're immortal souls and whatnot. Like it's pretty it's one of those things where presentation is everything. Like, you can fucking baffle people with bullshit as much as you want, but until they see it through their own experience and like take an understanding with that real awareness, not this, oh, I paid $60 for some fake experience and now I should be happy. But once you get there, like, you'll get what I'm saying. Like, it's self-explanatory.
Mhm. Cool, man. Well, Drew, I'd like to keep you on, and I'd actually like to be able to bring Zoe into this conversation, and then we can just sort of bounce some more ideas around. Is there anything else in particular you just want to hit upon real quick?
I think that's all I got so far. I might have some more. It's just, I don't know. I've been doing a lot this whole past weekend. I've been all over the place. Busy.
Yeah.
I'm a busy man, so.
Cool, man.
But, yeah.
Well, chill out, relax with us, and we'll just sort of let things flow as need be. But no expectations or anything. So I appreciate you calling in for sure. And I'd like to, like as I mentioned, I'd like to be able to bring on Zoe in the next minute. One thing that definitely came to mind, and I was going to mention this earlier in the show, I just hadn't done it yet. Last night I had the good fortune of being able to go see the new Lego movie, and I definitely just I wanted to recommend. I know, right? I want to recommend people to go see that. There's definitely like a lot of consciousness shifting being implemented into that. Like the whole idea of like we are the conscious creators, we are the master builders of our own reality, and we don't need somebody to tell us what we are in order for us to choose who it is that we see ourselves as, kind of thing. Sorry, Noah, you had some. You had your.
I found it hilarious because
it was great.
It's kind of like Emmett is the truth, because like the truth being that we're all superhuman and we're just ordinary at the same time.
No spoilers.
Okay, but the whole point of it is that the name I found the most interesting was, and I don't know if this is intentional, but the name for truth in Hebrew is Emmett.
No shit, eh?
So the whole movie I was just like, wow.
Who made this? Like, yeah.
I don't know who made this. What were they doing? But they must have looked up the origins of the word Emmett. Like you don't choose the name Emmett out of nowhere.
Just no. Yeah.
You know, so it literally is Emmett. Like that. That
is
so
funny.
I found that interesting, but yeah, that's besides the point. Great movie.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it for anybody, but definitely go see the Lego movie when you have the chance, and just sort of take it with an open mind, and you'll be able to get those messages. And I think it's awesome that these are the type of stories that are sort of being like interwoven through our children's consciousness. Like that is the type of magic that helps change the world. That's something that I'm personally really interested in, being involved with filmmaking and everything as well. And quick plug, I'll just say, if anybody wants to help create more consciousness shifting movies out there, then please, reminding you again to check out the GoFundMe for Journey to Lucidity 2, gofundme.com/Journey to Lucidity 2. If you like Lego Movie, then you'll like Journey to Lucidity 2. Something, yeah. And also reminding people, if they want to get in the button draw, send a message to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, and we'll do the draw within the last 10 minutes of the show, and we got like less than 35 minutes in the show now. So again, I'll post a link for that, and if anybody wants to be able to donate to be able to help us give out an extra free batch of shift buttons, you can do that by donating at gofundme.com/ParadigmShiftCentral, and you can get buttons at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons. But yeah, people are pretty familiar with that, and buttons help change the world. So
I have a good prelude to Zoe coming on.
Oh, what's that?
The mystery of voice.
Okay.
And the power of sound. But yeah, let's see.
Sounds good. Okay. All right. So Zoe, if you're ready, we're gonna bring you onto the air, and it's been a while, so I'm looking forward to it. So Zoe, this is Zoe from Paradigm Shift 518, which is in New York. She's one of the admins there. So Zoe, if you're ready, bring you back on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, Zoe.
Hello.
Hello. Is Zoe there?
Oh, hi. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Zoe, welcome back to Paradigm Shift Radio.
Thanks, Skull. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I mean, even just like hanging out with you guys digitally, I think sort of collectively helps boost the spirits, and essentially that is like the source of all health in people will just say that if you're feeling sad, just smile, and that'll be one way to start feeling better, as simple as it is. So, well, yes, thank you for asking. I am feeling better.
Good, good.
So, Zoe, just sort of passing the talking stick over to you. In terms of mysteries of the universe, what is it that comes to your mind?
Okay, well, so to give you some background, I had some magic dice, and no one knows what these are. They're like these like story dice, and they just have random pictures on it. But me and my boyfriend like to roll it and just like take a fortune. But anyway, so we asked the question, what's the biggest conspiracy of our reality? And I rolled a die, and it showed a clock. So I'm going to ask you about time. For me, I think the biggest mystery is time. So I want to know what you guys think about time.
Okay.
I think it's like an illusion, really. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, I feel like, I don't know, basically, like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain.
Like, what I've been learning a lot recently, which has been really interesting for me, and just how it relates to me personally in my life in relation to time. There's this Kabbalist who talks a lot about how there's 3 simultaneous levels of creation happening at the same time, so to speak, that are sort of linear but not really. And so the first one is what I was talking about before, which is like how there's God's original thought of like the perfected creation, and how stage 2 of that is us battling between good and evil and figuring out that it's all God and it's all good, even though it like seems that there's a duality in this world. And then the third stage is the completed world. But they're all interwoven, because without the first one, there is no second or third. Without the third, there is no second and first. And without the second, there's no third, because you can't fix something that doesn't need fixing. And it's just, we're living in a world where we're perceiving everything happening in a linear motion, but in reality, like, the first human experiences are now, and the end is also now, from, I guess, the perspective of timelessness. So I just find it interesting how I know that I am like choosing a lot of what I'm doing and where I'm going, but at the same time it's kind of just going where it needs to be anyway, and it's all kind of happening at the same time. And I'm not supposed to understand that. I just am humbled by that, Like it's not really as it appears to be, I guess.
It's like I feel like that's part of the like shift right now, is like as people move into the heart, they'll be able to become more accepting and like more nurturing, because I feel like, I don't know, when you get the balance and everything, like it's like basically like, it's like you said, it's almost like there's a battle, but I think people look at it wrong. It's not necessarily a battle, it's just a matter of like people are being abused. Like when you look at an animal that gets abused, and who abused it was probably abused in the first place. So it's like basically like I feel like as people learn to just like, instead of try to control everything, like the more we move into the heart, like the more whatever problems you have, they're going to be nurtured, and then like from there everybody's just going to take care of each other, and the earth will become like essentially as easy as it is to run as it should be. Like, you know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
What do you think, Zoe?
Well, I think your idea, Noah, about those 3 separate, like, I don't know,
not really
qualities
separate, but
of
sort
time.
of separate.
Yeah, they're not really separate at all, right? Because if they can't exist without each other, then they must be one big blob of something.
Yeah, that's what I was more alluding to, that there's just, it's just ironic, but it's just like, it's like an inevitable movement, but it's not really a movement at all. I don't know how to explain. It's non-conceptual, so I can't really like,
It's a mystery of reality.
Yeah, that's the mystery.
Yeah.
That's the mystery.
I think
paradox of free will, but inevitability, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was just going to say for the time thing, I mean, I sort of tripped myself out over this when I said it a while ago, but I said, like, the idea that, like, time is light and, like, time is love, because I had already associated that love was light sort of thing. So, I mean, and going back to what I was talking about before, I was saying that, like, love is, like, the fundamental default energy of the universe, so to speak. But, yeah, like, I mean, I that probably doesn't make sense for me to say time is light, but it's really interesting how time kind of works, and I think it is like this fundamental illusion, if it is just that, just in the sense that like, yeah, like how it does sort of piece together. I mean, even when you're just talking about like the way how a seed sort of grows, I mean, when you think about it, you know, like when you're talking about seeds, like the entire tree like is already there within the fundamental like core of like that seed. It's not like the seed has to sort of like guess and figure itself out. Like it already is what it is, and then it's like the light and the time that it just sort of moves itself through. So I mean, is time a space? Like is time, like if anything, is time just like a petri dish, so to speak? I mean, sometimes when I think about time, I sort of, you know, I think in terms of like tentacles and stuff, and tendrils and fractals, and even sort of like the Donnie Darko when he's sort of like walking and you can sort of like see that like tentacle coming out of his chest kind of thing. Like time is almost like an entity in itself that is like pulling things forward. But I mean, these words are probably like not even actually like getting close to being able to describe the mystery that is time. But it's really interesting how I guess within this circle of paradigm shifty people, we can sort of we've in some way or another reached some sort of consensus with this idea that time in itself is non-linear, which I think is a really interesting thing, considering most of the world is still living in the paradigm which says that the future doesn't exist until you get there, sort of thing. So I mean, I guess just putting that question to you guys, like, what do you think? Do you guys think that the future already exists before we get there?
Yeah, I would say. Sorry, go ahead. I don't. You had it first.
Thank you. Well, one thing that I thought of that might relate to this while you were talking, I thought of time as almost like an awareness, right? Because if you take it just from your own personal experience, like not even all of this like other outside crazy, like what if I'm the universe and like all this stuff I have no concept of, but even just like here from your spot now, right? You didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow, and yet here you are now. It's like it's the same idea, kind of like you were saying time is light. Like light is the universe. The universe is expanding. Your awareness is expanding through each moment of experience that comes under your belt. And I don't know, I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine about this, like, do these events already exist? Am I crafting them? Is the seed of everything already present? I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know, yeah.
I was going to pass it over to Drew. Drew, did you want to share your response?
Yeah, I kind of just got lost in what she had to say there for a minute, but it was really good info. But I would say like crap. Go ahead. I'll chime in just a sec. I gotta regather my thoughts so I can take that all in.
Right. No, go ahead.
No, I feel like there's and that's what I think what happens with people that you think you've known for lifetimes versus someone you don't think you think you've maybe met them tons of times, but you don't even know them. They're kind of a mystery to you, and that leads to the question of like, is the consciousness of the soul, like how does that work, and what does that really mean? Because I feel like you know, I randomly, for example, like log on to, I don't know how many months ago, I just with any of these things, I just find myself randomly logging on this chat, this thing, and I'm meeting this person and then this person, and then I go meet them in London, and they teach me this, and I just feel like it's not a random thing. It's not random at all. And at the same time, it's like our whole lives have been waiting for this moment, and then it happens, and it's like seemingly insignificant when I was 3 years old and I went to this place and then to that place, and I had this temper tantrum somehow led me to like logging on to that shit at like 11:57 on a random ago or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like it's all one thing, and it's like I look at it like you could like kind of follow me on like on a big map system of like me bouncing around to all these places, and all of a sudden like someone else's map bouncing around, and then all of a sudden we're just bumping into each other. But it was like this symmetry that could only happen because of everything else that happened, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
No, it completely does.
I feel like it's almost like what I've been experiencing a lot lately. But yeah, it's like I don't know, my thing is like the idea of
Hold on. Noah, you're making too much noise. Okay, go ahead, Drew.
my thing is like I've always believed in the idea of free will, but it's like I don't know, I feel like the more you like get into like trying to have a free will, it's like the more everything just works itself out anyways. And like all you essentially get is like a little like it's not that you don't have a say in what happens, it's just that like because we're essentially mirrors of ourselves, you know what I mean? So it's like we just reflect like what is really happening, so to say. And I feel like that's part of the illusion of time is like that, like I don't know, it's definitely like it's hard to explain. I don't know. Just like time is creation itself. I guess that's the way to say it. Like some around those
our perspective of creation, so to speak, like our little, I don't know, like when you have a movie reel and you can only see a certain moment in the movie, but the future and past both exist on the reel, type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think kind of what you were saying going with the free will thing, I mean, that's a big mystery in itself. For me, if I were to sort of look at the free will stuff, the free will question, what I kind of get out of it is this idea that I think free will does exist, and I think it's this idea that there are certain things that are going to happen in our life, and our free will is what helps determine how soon those things will happen. It seems that like there will be certain opportunities that will cross our path, but maybe if we're not like at that conscious level where we're ready to sort of be able to receive them, then they'll kind of like go right past us. So I think it's really interesting that like the universe is creating on kind of like this macro level and we're existing on this micro level, but we're both projecting intentions and creation at the same time. So like I think that's a big part, is to realize that like we are as fundamentally responsible for helping create the universe from where we are as much as the universe is still creating itself from like that bigger Godhead kind of perspective, which is really interesting. But yeah, just the idea of being able to meet the universe halfway using our free will and deciding like, you know, do I want to accomplish this objective like within a week, or do I want to accomplish it within like 10 months from now, sort of thing. And then if you accomplish it sooner rather than later, then it sort of like grants you access to more advanced lessons. And then as you do that, it sort of like levels you up even faster and faster. And then that's where you get into this idea of you know, different souls being around for different degrees of time, and some of them being more quote unquote experienced than others. But yeah, just a few thoughts there. And I will say I know we can bounce around some more ideas with this. I'd actually like to be able to bring in another buddy into this conversation, just because we are ticking down on the time clock as it is. It'd be nice if we could just like talk here forever, and in some ways we can, but we're gonna bring on another caller, and if I do have this set up properly, I think we're gonna be able to bring on Mario. And Mario's been on the show in the past, and yeah, I know he's got a couple of ideas to share. And Noah, just message me if you want me to bring you back on. Just let me know if you need me to unmute you. But yeah, we're gonna bring on Mario, and we're just gonna keep the conversation rolling from there. So Mario, if you're ready, gonna bring you back on the Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go, I think. Yo, is this Mario?
No, this is Joel, actually.
Oh, it's Joel. Hey, Joel. Well, nice to have you on here. Pleasant surprise also.
Yeah, it's been, I haven't been able to tune in for a few weeks, actually. But it's cool.
Cool.
It's nice.
Cool.
Where you guys were going here with time when you were talking about it, I was thinking that what it seems to me is that it's just a measure we use for individual expression. Because if you think when you have experiences where you're so, quote, lost in the moment and you don't notice time passing by because you're so taken in by what you're doing here and now, that anything else outside of that is, you don't even register it, right? But if you are interacting with your individuality, with the individuality of others or individual circumstances meeting each other, then it's kind of like everybody meets halfway or at some point along the way so that we can do things together. And then we just use that fictional passage of time to measure how about we go doing that, when we go and do that. But in reality, when you look yourself in the moment and when you're really totally focused on just that moment, then time, you don't experience it, right? So I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, Joel, I don't want to like have to sort of not give you an opportunity to talk. Do you mind if I just sort of see if we can get Mario onto the air here, just to sort of get things sorted out? And you're still welcome to get in the conversation. And yeah, we got a few people on the air here, but we'll keep things organized. And we still got about 15 minutes, so we'll see what conversation we can get out of this. And I'm gonna bring on caller from area code 732, and this may or may not be Mario. And if it's not, then I definitely know that the next caller is Mario. But actually, or is it 661? Okay, I'm going to try bringing on caller from 661 first, and then we're going to try caller from area code 732. So caller from area code 661, going to bring you onto the air. Here we go.
Yeah,
hello,
this is Mario.
Yeah, see, I knew it. I think my part of me recognized the 661. All right, cool. And I do still want to bring on a caller from 732, so nothing personal or anything. But yeah, sorry, Mario. I know you were eager to get onto the air, so welcome, man. And yeah, with no time to spare, please get right into sharing what it is that you'd like to share in terms of mysteries of the universe.
Indeed. Well, first of all, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for showing up here every single week and providing value. Troy provided massive value. Like, he knows what he's talking about, and I appreciate you if you're still listening, and everyone calling in. Appreciate you guys. My main mystery of the universe that has always sparked a huge interest, well, not always, but recently, the subconscious mind. It's just the infinite realm of your whole experience until now, and tapping into that, knowing how to, discovering, because no one is a master. There might be people better at that than others, but really studying the subconscious mind, because the more I study wealthy people, the more they talk about this. And, well, first of all, myself, I'm a filmmaker by heart. I started creating since I was a little kid, and I've always been really creative, so I've always had this urge to fulfill my talents, and I realized that to do that, I need to have resources and money. So I started studying wealthy people about 2 years ago, discovering the powers of the mind. And another mystery that you guys talked about is time and the subconscious mind. If you think about it, when you're dreaming, time doesn't exist, because sometimes you just go take a nap of 30 minutes and you wake up and it's like if it was an eternity. So time is just like a figment of imagination or something. And this cycle of time about the golden ages and ancient civilizations, it's very interesting. I actually saw a video and a series called Pyramid Code. It explains some of this. I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but it definitely resonated with me. And the technology of the pyramids, how they were these transmitters of energy. They say that they uplifted consciousness at this previous, thousands of years ago in the golden age. And I believe that. I believe they were way more advanced than we are right now. And yeah, so I've been on this journey of studying the mind and becoming rich. I realized that a lot of people attach this negativity to money and they think it's greedy, but in the end, if you're in the creative plane and not in the competitive plane, that's when the riches will come to you because you deserve it. You're gonna spread your talents, spread awareness across the world. So right now, I want you to realize that it's no per se. It's like money. Don't have any limitations towards the word money, getting rich, all that. If you're feeling a negative vibration by me talking about money and becoming rich, okay.
I think a lot of people sell their soul too.
Yeah, well, some people they have this attachment to money and the love for money.
My thing is, why do we need money? What is it as humans, as the only species on Earth, that makes us require it? Especially when we have all this free energy like wind and solar power and everything. If you just look at a leaf blowing the wind, that tells you right there we don't need money. That's a natural resource that can be harnessed infinitely. Especially when you look at especially when you look at the human body and you realize how infinite your structure is. Everything is infinite. If I were to recommend a movie, I'd recommend 0 Point. It really helps explain that.
Yeah.
I'll take that movie note. What's it called? Point zero?
0 Point?
0 Point. Well, yeah, you're saying pure truth, and like Nikola Tesla is always like everywhere about energy and renewable energy, but you got to think in terms of where we're living right now, and we're in the financial world. So just realize that it's not supposed to be with money, but that's what it currently is. So there needs to be.
Would you suggest that it needs to be a switch of currency?
Well, eventually that's what's happening with like Bitcoin and
all that. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think I feel like that might be what essentially. Yeah, I think you're onto something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mario.
Appreciate that. And well, one of the main things I really want to stress upon is that communication is everything. The communication of how you talk comes from listening to audios. What we've been doing since we were born, we listen, and we absorb patterns and words. So we've been always learning to listen, but at a certain point, we stop growing because they don't teach us about the power of audios, personal development. Audios have made the biggest difference in my life. I remember 2 years ago connecting to a series called Your Wish is Your Command, and that really just sparked something in me. I've become more happy. I realized the energy of ours. They talk about the brain. That the audio is not the best because they just speak about like the energy of your brain, but it definitely led me into the rabbit hole. Another habit of success doesn't come from me. This comes from very wealthy and successful people, and people that are very evolved in terms of consciousness. Reading books daily has been a new habit I've been developing, and it really sparks imagination, and it's like a meditation at the same time. So those two main habits, and attending events like you do at the Journey of Lucidity, attending events of, I attend network marketing events because I'm into like wealth creation to develop my talents to the fullest potential, have all the tools. But spirituality is what really just keeps me on track and gives me purpose. So I'm glad to be here and sharing value.
For sure, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
I find it, I find it really interesting that within this whole conversation, I mean, obviously we didn't get into everything, but we never really got into too much of the UFO, alien, Sasquatch type conversation in terms of the mysteries of the universe, which I'm not really entirely sure like what to get from that, because I mean personally I'm still absolutely fascinated in those topics, and maybe we'll have to do a little bit of like a part two, and even just getting into I mean I mentioned it earlier, getting into like the topic of like the psychedelic side of things. I mean, you know, talking about something like a DMT experience is like a whole mystery in itself, and I know there's a lot there for the audience that they would love to hear more about, and definitely just reminding people to, if they do want to be involved in more of the conversation, reminding them of the after party hangout that we'll be having following this episode, and you can find the link for that at facebook.com/paradigmshiftradio, and apologize just for keeping things moving along here, guys, but with only 6 minutes left in the show, just want to remind people in the live chat that we do encourage you to be able to connect with other people. So please, if you want to be able to connect with more shifters, take this opportunity now to post your Facebook profile into the live chat to be able to invite more people to connect with you so that you can make new friends. And definitely join the Paradigm Shift global discussion group, and you can find the link for that at the very top of ParadigmShiftCentral.com. And yeah, getting some good conversation happening there. And I'm going to move into the button draw as we do this right now, and then I'm going to just sort of open up the mic just for a couple moments, and I'd like to bring on a caller from area 732 just because I promised them that I'd bring them on, and apologies to the other callers. We will have more opportunities, obviously. And next week's episode is going to be with our good friend Scott Light. We're having him on as a guest, and going to be talking about medicinal plant medicines of the world. So we're actually going to be talking about things such as the ayahuasca experience, among other things. So yeah, we'll probably be getting further into the mystery of that conversation there as well. And yeah, so if you guys just want to just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to do a collective moment to sort of see who the universe is going to choose for this week's shift buttons. And of course, ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons. You can get those for yourself and use the promo code PSR to get bonus buttons. So no time to dawdle. This week's buttons for the shift winners are... and the winner is... Jared. All right, so Jared is this week's winner for the shift buttons, and I'm gonna make sure that I send him a message. And I think Jared literally just entered into the draw. Or no, I was thinking of another person, but yeah. So Jared won the buttons for this week, and gonna be able to send those to him. So thank you so much for Jared for entering those, and for anybody else, just stay tuned for more opportunities to get your shift buttons. And yeah, so with only 4.5 minutes left in the show, let me just bring on a caller from area code 732, and then I know Noah had something that he wanted to talk about, so I might be able to bring him on for the last minute as well. So caller from area code 732, going to bring you onto the air real quick as we sort of wrap things up here. So caller from 732, bring you onto the show. Here we go. Hello, caller?
Hello, are you there?
Yes, caller, can you hear us?
Hello, Skull.
Hello.
How are you, honey?
Good,
okay.
Good.
I'm
introduce
sorry.
yourself and go ahead.
I am not a technical person. Forgive me, please. Blessings to all. My name is Sysco. My Native American family calls me Little Soaring Eagle. And I would just like to tell you I am a 55-year-old Native American traditional female, and I would love to tell your group, and I'm sorry if I get choked up here, but I have to tell you that I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you because I have to tell you, as a traditional Native, we are very aware of the things going on around us, the energy, the flow, if you know what I mean, of everything you've talked about tonight and in the past. And I've tried to get in a few times, and I'm going to make this very quick. And I don't mean to tap the brakes or put on the brakes here, but I want everybody to take a deep breath and just realize, deep breath, we are energy, and we're all beautiful, and we all have a purpose. And I want to tell you from knowledge, I've seen this world change over my lifetime, and I've seen it making a full circle from going to simple farmers just trying to, eke out a life day by day to bigger, better, faster, more. And it's so funny and odd and scary at the same time to see everything coming around full circle, where we're going back to organic, and we're starting to realize that we have to take care of our Earth Mother. We have to stop depleting. We have to put back. We have to take care of each other. We have to take care of ourselves, or we can't take care of each other. Do you understand where I'm coming from, honey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is coming from knowledge. You have to understand, I'm a single mom of 2 boys, and they are in their 20s now. And I went through a horrible incident, and I won't get into it, but I was given 4 months to live. And when you're a mom you have to look back and you have to go, okay, what am I leaving? What am I leaving behind? What am I teaching my children? What am I able to go teach them and have them be able to move forward and make it a better place? So at that point in time, when they tell you to get your papers together and get your estate in order, you have to realize what the most important thing is. And the most important thing is this, that we are energy, and that energy lives on. And I would love one day to come on and tell you about my experiences with near-death experiences, what's on the other side, that our energy lives on, and love is the only thing that matters. And what you are doing as a group, what you are doing is such an awesome thing, and there isn't even a word to describe what your group is doing. You are taking like-minded people and you're bringing them together as a group. You are gathering knowledge and feelings, and you're talking it through. And it is just such a delight to know that groups like this exist. And it's serendipity that I fell upon it, and I have my my boys involved, and they're listening. And I would just love to give you a little hope and a little insight into some of the things that exist out there. We're talking about mysteries of the universe. One of the largest mysteries of the universe is why we are here and what happens after and what do I do in between. And what you're doing is exactly what you should be doing. You are giving hope. You are giving insight. You are spreading knowledge. You are spreading love. And those are the only things that matter, taking care of each other, trying to take care of the animals around us, trying to take care of the earth, trying to go back to organics, trying to not buy into the whole illusion of I have to drive this, I have to own that, I have to have this, I have to look this way. You are going back to grassroots. You are going back to what is important. And my native peoples call me a little soaring eagle, and I'm traditional. And I don't mean to eat up your last 4 minutes, but this is so important for you to hear this, that please, darling, and everybody listening, don't ever, ever think that a small group of devoted and dedicated individuals can change this world. Do you know why, Skull? Do you know why?
Because it's the only thing that ever has.
Amen, darling. Absolutely. It's the only thing it ever has. And we as a people, and I am Lenape and Cherokee, and I have lived traditional. And what that means for your listeners is this, very simply. We are handed certain programs and certain things. My sons could have their college paid for 100%. They turned it down. When my son came to me in the 3rd grade and said, Mom, they're telling me I can do this, and if I put my hand out, they'll put it in there. And he looked at me and he said, if I put my hand out and I accept 1 penny, it's okay. It's saying it's okay, everything that happened to us, everything they took, everything they destroyed, everything yada, yada, yada. And I understood at that point, and I knew at that point in time, if I never knew it before, that I had something I had to teach, and I had to teach that not with words but with actions. And I had to live that, and I had to live it traditional. And that's what I've tried to do. And I also getting hit with what I was hit with and told I only had 4 months to live. And just for your listeners who are feeling bad right now, don't feel bad because that was 4 years ago. So that'll tell you herbal and organics and what the earth provides and what's there. It absolutely works. And I have lots of answers, and I have lots of questions still, but there are good, wonderful things out there that are just there if you take care of them and people walk by them every day, and there's herbal cures, and there's wonderful things that you can do for yourself to keep yourself strong. And energy does, absolutely, without a doubt, it passes through to the next side. And the only things that live on, honey, are love and forgiveness. And just know that. And what you're doing is wonderful, and I applaud it, and I think you're terrific, and you are a true soul shine, and every life you touch is better. And I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much on behalf of everyone. Thank you. Sorry, caller, remind us again. What was your name?
My name is Sysco. My Native American family calls me Little Soaring Eagle. And I would absolutely love to come on to another show and tell you about experiences I've had that tell you that love passes through to the other side. Mm-hmm. And it does exist, and we do go on, and we're energy. And the things you do here are, whether you call it karma, whatever. I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, if you know what I mean. I don't believe in so much of this rigid, religiousness that man has put upon us. I believe more in the spirituality of things and the energy, and anything that believes in the core of love and energy and action-reaction is absolutely truth. So I would love to tell you, when I was told I only had so much time to live, I'm not like a traditional mom. I think, okay, what can I do for my sons to give them strength after I'm gone? That's your most important thing, is what are you going to leave your children? And I never wanted them to doubt themselves or life or their purpose. So I decided to take them kind of unconventionally. I decided to spend the night on the battlefield in Gettysburg.
Oh,
because
wow.
I knew there. Yeah, I know, right? Halloween night.
We've talked. Oh, wow.
Woo-hoo.
We should go back
show, baby.
Well, I was just about to say, Sysco, we did a show back on Halloween, and we were talking about doing ghost walks at Gettysburg. We talked about that exactly. Please continue.
Oh, phenomenal. With Mark Nesbitt, yes, I've met Mark.
We had him on, yeah.
Yes, he is a wonderful, wonderful human being. He really is. He really cares about the important things. He really does. He's a wonderful man, and I've met him and I've talked with him, and the first time he met him, he shook my hand and gave me a hug and said, "You're an empath, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Oh, you have no idea." But basically, I took them there for multiple reasons, multi-layered, like an onion. You peel back the layers. It was multi-layered. And but I knew there I would get a response. And my main thing, one of the layers of that onion was I felt so bad for these individuals that had given their last full measure of devotion for us for whatever reason, and that were stuck. And I knew I had the knowledge to fix some of that, And I figured if I did that in front of my boys, and they saw that when I passed, they would not get, clogged up in their life, being held back by grief and other things, and that they could drive on knowing that what they did here had a reason, and also it continues on. So when they wanted to understand a little bit more, I took a bottle of water, just regular bottle of water, and I threw it on the floor, and I stepped on it, and I stepped on it and jumped up and down on it. And I said, "Do you see the bottle is all mashed up, but the water is energy, and the water is fine. Mm-hmm. Do you see that? And we are energy, and we live on, and we live on in love, and we live on forgiveness, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And for them to see me go and spend the night on the battlefield on Halloween night in Gettysburg, and I'm telling you, I'm a Jersey redhead, honey. I got some chutzpah, as they call it. And they saw the things that happened there when we walked off that battlefield, and they hugged me. They had no words. and they hugged me and they said, "Mom, this earth and the things that we get bogged down by, it's really just stuff." Do you know what I'm saying, Skull? It's stuff,
Oh, yeah.
The Illuminati might be against us. They might want to keep us from doing things, and they might be putting GMOs in our food, and they might be doing this. But if you have the answers, if you go back to the earth, you go back to the mother, and you take care of what's around you, and you take care of yourself, and you go back to organics, no matter how hard it is. People tell me all the time, organic food's expensive, and I say, yes, so is cancer. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you go back, I could take some stuff and go live in a tree. I really could, And if you go back to that and you understand what's important and you love those around you and you appreciate your time here, you kind of elevate into a whole nother level and a whole nother plane of existence and a whole nother spirituality. And you can walk around and above and around all this other gunk. And I don't know how, I'm not good with words, darling. I just want to say that your group and the like-minded people around, keep doing what you're doing. Keep believing in what you believe in. And if it makes you happy and if it makes your energy feel good, please keep doing it. Hug one another. Love one another. You are your brother's keeper, and you are responsible for your actions, and you can change the world. You can make it a better place, and you're doing a great job. And I'm sorry I'm talking so fast, but I'm trying to get it all in 4 minutes. I'm so sorry. But I love you guys. I love you all, and, your beautiful soul shines, and just don't let anybody put your light out.
Well, thank you so much, Sysco. I mean, you may not think that you're good with words, but you're great with emotions, and we definitely felt you on that one. So, and no worries about the time. I wasn't even thinking about cutting you off. I mean, it's important to be able to give you that opportunity to sing your heart song there, and I think for our friends who are still with us in the queue who were able to hear it. I mean, yeah, just anybody else here, Zoe, I'm going to bring on Noah, just anybody else here, just take a moment to just say whatever you want to say and thank Sysco personally. I know she would appreciate it.
Yeah, that was awesome. That really inspired me from the heart.
Yeah, it really helped me out. Like, words can't even describe how much that helped me, really.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Sysco, I mean, the hope, it really is about the hope. Like, that is such a powerful thing. Like, that is a force within this mysterious universe all in its own.
That's what everyone seeks. I think humanity is just seeking for hope. Everyone just looks for a little bit of hope each day.
Mm-hmm.
And we provide that.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes a village. Has anybody ever heard that term, it takes a village? I mean, my people believe, and I don't know how to describe this. I mean, I'm 55. I feel old. I feel old talking to all this young energy, but I love you guys so much, and I see your pictures, and I see you getting together and getting on your marches, and I don't understand the Skype. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get the technology. I had to ask a 6-year-old to put a contact in my phone the other day. I'm not a technical girl, but by golly, if you ever want to live in the woods and you want to know how to build a fire and a hut and get shelter and food, I'm there for you. You know what I mean? I'm a native woman, and I'm traditional, and my people don't want to be extinct. And we have sat back for years, and if you look at the prophecy of the seven thunders and Lakota, and if you look at the white buffalo, and you look at all these different things, and you go back to that knowledge, it doesn't matter what tribe. It does not matter if it's Africa or Alaska or anywhere. It's all based in the same core. It's all telling you the same thing, and a lot of religions will tell you the same thing. And when you boil them down, whether it's from Buddha or Jesus or the Quran or any of it, and it all boils down to the same thing. When you take out the politics and all of the, you better do this or this will happen. You take all that fear away. What remains? Love. Love. Love.
And nature.
Acceptance and nurturing and helping. And, you go back to it takes a village, and you have one person that can do this and one can do this and one can do that. That's what we need to get back to, and that's what you guys are trying to do. So don't ever let anybody undermine what you're trying to do. Drive forward and push through the muck and the mire and the mud. And I would love so much, Skull, this is for you. I sent you, I'm Sysco Murdoch on Facebook, and anybody who wants to friend me, I'm there for you. And the time that I have, I'm trying to make a difference, and I'm trying to show people that our energy continues, our energy is love, and love continues, period.
Awesome.
I've been there, I've passed, I've come back, I've been told that I had to have my arm cut. I was bitten by brown recluse spiders, so they said as soon as it hit my heart, I was gone. And, that scared the heck out of me, but you know what? Things happen. And I went completely herbal. I went completely organic. I don't promote anything. I don't sell anything. We're not into selling natives, period. Traditional natives don't sell. Mm-hmm. We are vessels for information, period. Mm-hmm. So if you ever need anything, or if you would like to hear about the experiences I have on Halloween night in Gettysburg, I would love to do that. I have pictures I'd like to send you. I was hugged by a ghost right before he passed through the light, and you have to understand the impact of that. This was a soldier who gave everything he had, scared and alone, and he passed through the light finally. He was scared to go through it because of what would be a word that you would give us? Well, where we put so much on people, where we're so scared to even go into a hard-earned peace like that. Mm. What would make somebody wait almost 200 years to walk through, And that's what the society does to people. They power by fear, and they power by ignorance, and they power by you're not good enough, and you're not this, and you're not that. And that's just sad. We tell people that they can't get married because they're not marrying the one we want you to marry. Who are we to define love? That's not something for us to define. That's for our hearts to understand, and that's for ourselves. And nobody has the right to tell us that, Mm-hmm. And what you guys are is love and your energy, and I applaud you with my whole heart. And if you ever would like me to come on and explain the different things that I've seen and send you the pictures, I would love to do that, Skull.
I would love that as well, Sysco. I think that would be great. We can definitely make some time for that. That would be absolutely beautiful. And I think even just now, I'm sure there's a lot more that we could talk about. But we'll put a bookmark on it for now, and we'll just say save some for another time. And again, thank you.
Mention something?
Yeah, sorry,
just a quick
Joel,
response.
go ahead. Go ahead.
You said you feel so old at 55, and I'm 31, not that old, not crazy young either, but I recently had the realization, or the knowing rather, that I'm going to be having a child who already tried to come into this world once, but did not make it. And what would have been my brother is going to be my son. But I know this isn't going to happen until I actually am part of a community, because I understand the value that it takes a community to rear a child. So the child has every benefit available to themselves, all avenues of love and natural expression available, so that he can have limitless opportunities to grow and be what we all came here to be, right? The best version of ourselves. So I just wanted to put your heart at ease in a way, and say that the values of Native traditions they're not lost, because even someone who's not native, such as myself, when this truth resonates, you make your way to them, and I and many other people around me share these values. So, if you want to talk about hope, there is definitely hope for future generations.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And sweetheart, know this, that traditional natives, we are traditional natives. We have traditional natives, and then we have what we call apples, and that's not a mean thing. But, and I don't want anybody to be offended by this, but we say apples because they're red on the outside, white on the inside. They're after money, they're after this, they want casinos, they want the handouts, they want the, and that's not a mean thing. That's just saying that they have, their vision is on a different light, okay? And that's okay. That's good for them. That's fine. What we care about, what I care about, I make $180 a week, and I'm glad I have this job. And I spend probably 80 of that feeding the animals outside my back door because they have nowhere to go. They've been pushed out of their homeland. They've been pushed out of their what they can exist in. And it's my purpose. So what you're doing, honey, you're native by blood. You're not native by blood, but you're native by heart. And those are the things that are going to help. And I think it's wonderful that you're keeping those traditions. And I think it's absolutely fabulous what is happening here tonight, what happened last Sunday night. And I'm sorry I couldn't get through. If anybody can help me with the technical things, I would love to come on Skype. I would love to have people look into the eyes, because the eyes are the soul. And when I say things, I want them to know that I'm telling the truth. I have nothing but truth and hope here. This is one of my ways of reaching out, and I thank Skull, and I thank everybody in Paradigm Shift, and to let me say these things and maybe leave you with some good energy. And I promise you this, on tonight's show, this is going to be a first. I promise you this, when I get to the other side, if I can come back and help, I'm there for you. I'll be there for you any way I can. I've told my sons the same thing. There's a big fight ahead, sweetheart. There's a big fight ahead, and that's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of things, and a lot of things are going to crumble. But I'll tell you something. The people that are going to fall, and it's not a happy thing. I feel sad for them. The people that cannot survive without this or that or whatever. I heard a quote the other day that said, when certain countries crumbled and the monetary, the money crumbled and they gave out certain monies, currency went away, that they handed the homeless person, the 50 shillings, and they were happy, but they handed the other people 50 shillings and they went and brought a gun to blow their head off because they couldn't survive without their material things. It all comes down to what's important to you, and if you put that around you now and you find out what's really important, then you haven't lost a thing. You haven't lost a thing. Mm-hmm. You have your love, you have your hope, you have everything you need around you, and there's lots of answers out there. And if I can give one person hope, I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
And you definitely have. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Sysco. Yeah, thank you again.
With my love and blessings, darling. With my love and blessings. And I'm here for you if you ever want to do that show, because I'm telling you, the things that I've seen are going to be nothing but hope. It's nothing but love. And it proves that, and I have pictures, like I said, some, and it shows that the love exists on the other side, and that's what gets through. So there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. For
sure. Sysco, how do you spell your name, if you don't mind me asking?
Absolutely.
Just so I can...
It's Sysco. It's a nickname. And it's Sysco Murdoch.
Murdoch. There it is.
MURDCH. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Because I'm just going to share your link with my friends here who are listening to make sure that we can all get connected.
Absolutely, and I'd love to start a group here. I've got my sons involved, and they'd love to start a group. They want to help.
And you're in California.
No, honey, I'm in the Jersey Shore.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Awesome. All right, we'll definitely be able to continue that conversation. So,
Thank you.
I mean, I mean, the show the show went off the air at 11:30, but we do have the good handful of us here who are still tuned in, and everybody's going to be able to listen to the show afterwards. We'll still be able to hear
honey,
all of
I'm so
this.
sorry.
Oh no, it's nothing. I'm glad. Like, this is a pleasant surprise. It's not often that we actually run the show later, but this is a good reason to do it. So no, I appreciate you being able to be a part of this conversation. And I mean, we got the after party waiting for us. So I mean, Sysco, if you can figure out how to join the after party, you're more than welcome to, or you can at least just watch it on the YouTube as well. But before we wrap things up here, I just wanted to pass the mic over to anybody, and Noah included, if anybody else here just had any closing thoughts or any just responses that they want to share just to Sysco personally.
This is Drew. I just wanted to say thank you. Like, 'cause I don't know, you really helped me a lot, especially like I don't know, like yeah, I guess you just gave me a lot of confidence. Really helped me keep striving, keep on doing what I'm doing. Thank you.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Anybody else?
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Thanks. I hope I have some sweet dreams tonight from your soothing guidance and words.
There you go. And is Zoe with us? I'm not sure if Zoe is with us. Zoe, are you still with us?
I'm still here, waiting patiently.
Anything you want to share?
Sysco, thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
I just want to say thank you to Sysco, and it's really inspiring to get feedback from someone who has a little more life experience under their belt. It's very rare that we can have these types of conversations with people your age. So thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Sysco.
Keep your light shining. Keep your light shining.
I actually, in London, am very connected to Skull knows her. She's a wonderful older soul. She's like, I don't know, in her 70s, and she said something to me, and that's how I look at it all now. She was just like, because like the soul has no age, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, we're all the same age, so to speak. It's all relative, right? So it doesn't really matter. So thank you for speaking and giving your heart to us. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are so welcome, and thank you for your love and your lights, and you keep them shining, and you never let anybody put them out. And hug and just appreciate people for who they are, and if they don't understand, you let them walk on. Okay?
Right on.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, I think that's a good spot to end this show off on. So we'll just wrap it up there, and of course, just reminding people to check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com, and also be sure to join the global discussion group, and you can find the link for that at the top of the website. And of course, also be sure to like the Facebook page for Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftCentral for more inspirational video content being created by the community. And of course, check out Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, and check out all of the past episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio at Facebook.com or at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/PSR. You can find those all on YouTube and on MP3s as well. So thank you everybody once again for being a part of this conscious conversation. Even if you are just listening, that is an incredibly important part, and we encourage you to be able to continue the conversation wherever you are. And as Sysco said, just keep shining that light. That's really how it changes the world. And it is the little things that make the big difference, as per usual. So I'll just we'll end it up there, and if everybody just wants to join me, and we can say farewell to the internet as I play the outro music. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Troy, who was on earlier. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you. Am I forgetting someone? Thank you, Sysco, obviously. But yeah, well. Thank you to everybody who called in and was a part of this episode. So guys, you can join me in saying farewell to the internet as I play the outro music now. So bye, internet. Farewell for now.
Bye, internet.
Bye. Adios.
We love you.
Love and light.
All right. Thanks, guys. One love. See you in the future.
One love.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. If you would like to connect with people where you are and continue the conversations further, then check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons to order your supply of shift buttons to share with people to help invite them to this global project while also helping make new friends and building local community where you are. Shift buttons are tools to hack the matrix and tap into the synchronistic nature of reality to accelerate our collective awakening. Enter the promo code PSR into your order to receive additional bonus buttons to your supply. Thank you again, and one love.